Morning gents, you can see we've got a little bit more light this morning than we did last night, so hopefully you can see a little bit better. Okay, what are we doing next? We're going on to lesson 7, and it doesn't take a genius to sort of realise that we can substitute the LEDs that we have on our board for a motor, and so we can start controlling the motor via our analog, via our LDR, so that when our buggy goes over a dark piece of cardboard, the motor could turn off and then it could turn itself back on again for 2 seconds, for example. When it goes over the next dark piece of cardboard, it could stop. So therefore it would satisfy that parking challenge that you're going to be doing later on. So what I've done here is I've just doctored our little flow chart that we write out. It's now program 7, and G1, which is the analog sensor, when it's on, the motor is going to go on, and when it's off, the motor is going to go off. And the motor is operated out of G0, just like the buzzer. So it's operated out of that little port, that black port on the bottom right hand side. Now the biggest problem is, of course, that a motor takes a lot of energy to get it to spin, and unfortunately our microcontroller doesn't give out enough energy to allow that motor to spin, so we need to use something else. Well, I'm just going to turn the page and just show you what we need to do. You can get something called a relay, and a relay is a component which has an electromagnet inside it, and I've tried to draw it out as a diagram here, where we have our microcomputer down the bottom, which is connected to this electromagnet. Now this electromagnet, what it does, when it turns on, it makes this switch here flip. And so you can see at the moment it's broken. When the electromagnet comes on, that switch flips over, and so it makes a contact across both the terminals. When it makes a contact across both those terminals, because you've got power and because you've got a motor, it creates a circuit, and that circuit spins. And that's what we're looking to do. Now the reason I've drawn that dotted line around both the electromagnet and the switch is because both of those different components come within one electrical product, as I said before, called a relay. And here it is. I'm going to just move this down. We've got our motor here, which I know you're familiar with, all being Lego fans. And then we've got our batteries, which I imagine you're familiar with the elastic band around it. We have 2 terminals, and they're going to be going into our microcomputer, and we also have this, and this plugs into the back of the battery. So whereabouts do these go on the board? Well, these go into, can you see, these 2 ports here. And this time I don't think it really matters which way they go round. It will just mean that the motor turns one way clockwise or the other way anti-clockwise. So if you think you can go and do that and program that now and wire that wire that all up, feel free to go and do that. But I'm going to produce another little video in just 2 ticks, just taking you through that. Okay, best of luck, and catch up with you in a bit.